What's shaking, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more synth pop, and we're back with some Yaz. And indeed, we're back with the second album of Yaz, which I never had back in the day, so as far as I know, I've never heard any of the tunes on You and Me Both, which, if you know the history of the group, I believe by the time this album was coming out, they had already announced they were splitting up as a group. And I think parts of the album were recorded where they weren't in the studio at the same time. I think there was a real breakdown in communication and interpersonal relations. But yeah, so, you know, the idea of the album being called You and Me Both, and I already put it up on my collage, which at some point I'm going to do a short video where I just kind of show everything and talk about the different album covers, but yeah, it's already up on the wall, but it's these two Dalmatians, black and white dogs, and they're on top of what looks like snow-covered ground, so it's like, you know, white and very dark where the dirt is, so it just all kind of blends into itself, but the two dogs are kind of like snarling at each other, so I don't know, I think there's a lot of like double sort of meaning in a lot of the aspects of this album. But again, maybe when the tunes start I will say, oh wait, I do actually remember hearing this on the radio. But again, I never had this on cassette, whereas I did have Upstairs at Eric's on cassette when I was a kid. Like that album, this is produced by E.C. Radcliffe and Yaz. And it is also on Sire Records here in the States, like most of the Depeche Mode, because again, I think it's Mute when it was in the UK, and then the American distributor was Sire. Nevertheless, this is from 1983, and the album You and Me Both, and the first tune, which I believe someone actually requested. At the time, I didn't have this album, so I couldn't do it, but I believe someone requested Nobody's Diary, which is the first track on the album. So here we go. This is Nobody's Diary by Yaz on their album You and Me Both, 1983. Not ringing a bell, but I dig it.
If I wait for just a second more,
Yaz stands out because there are a lot of other groups at this time, you know, or maybe not a lot, but there were other groups this time making a similar sound, but all male vocals.
But as I open my lips, all my words slip away.
That little and I like that backing vocal of hers. Didn't do it that time, but I like the sort of metallic quality of that. One of those synth layers, but now that I say that, this other kind of melodic one just took over. Like integration of the synth lead with the bass. I'm getting a better sense of Vince Clarke's productions now that I'm listening to more than just Speak and Spell, which is mainly how I knew his productions, and a few like Erasure songs, a couple Yaz songs. But now that I'm hearing more volume of his material, I'm starting to pick up on just, you know, certain elements that he uses or produces very well.
Gonna be
like the sort of effects on that one line. It sounded like it was, you know, through a bullhorn or something. I love the way that melodic line, it creeps in and then it like intensifies. And those little, like, you know, sliding your finger down the keys. Or like maybe it's a xylophone sort of synth, like. Admittedly, again, it's not something that I'm saying, oh, I remember hearing this on the radio. This sounds, you know, I'm not sure I ever heard it, but I wish I had heard it back in the day. I love the way that ended too. I mean, the fade out is one thing, but I like the way it really stripped down and it just became that simple, like light percussive rhythm on the way out the door. Yeah, that was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It, you know, it fits, I think, musically very well with their first album. There's someone who's been commenting on a few videos recently. I think it's Han Solo is, I think, the profile name. I'd be interested to hear what they might think because they seem to know a lot about the band. And ultimately, yeah, I'm not sure as I listen to it if I'll, you know, right there, that sounded a lot like the first album. It's possible as I go through the second album that, you know, I'll begin to sort of hear like a distinct difference or, you know, evolution of their sound. Although again, it's interesting to think about that in the context of what I understand about the sort of troubled or difficult production of the second album, ultimately culminating in them, you know, basically ceasing communication and, you know, breaking up as a band. So yeah, I would be interested to hear though if anyone has any comments about, you know, how this might diverge from their first work or not. But yeah, let me know what you think about Yaz or Yazoo. Let me know if there's another tune on this album that you're looking forward to hearing a reaction to. Admittedly, I'm probably just going to go through it in order. I've been doing that with a couple albums recently. Both those that I am familiar with, but also those that I've never heard before. So I'm kind of just enjoying going through some of these albums, you know, as they were put together as a, you know, larger work of art. So, but even so, it's nice to get context and, you know, comments about a tune before I get to them, just because sometimes it might inform my listening to the tune. So let me know what you think. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I will see you next time. Peace.